Hello, happy Sunday, happy March 1st. This is Christine with Hollis Hands Create. Welcome to my channel about cross stitch. If you are new here, I hope that you'll hang in with me for a little bit and maybe see some things that inspire you. And if you are a returning viewer and subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's been about 5, maybe 6 weeks since I've actually been on. Little longer than I had anticipated or that I wanted, but in my defense, it's been all about market for the last, I think we started getting our first emails around the 7th, 8th of February. So my last 3 weeks or so, I think I've taken maybe 1 day off. So it's been a little crazy, but it's an exciting time for stitchers and needleworkers and anyway, here we go. So we leave on this Thursday. Let me back up for those of you who are not familiar with market. In Nashville, Tennessee, once a year, annually, we have a wholesale show for shop owners and designers to present their new designs and wares and linen dyers and everybody who kind of has, anything to do with the needlework industry, specifically cross stitch. Meet in Nashville, always the first weekend in March, and we have a big show. And it's a lot of work. It's crazy. This year we have 153 exhibitors, which I believe is the most they've ever had. Last year we had 134. So we have a lot of the rooms being split by designers. And so that means, you really are going to have to, as I said to a customer who had messaged me that we have our running shoes on and our elbows out. So it's kind of crazy, but it's a lot of fun. That being said, the more prep work that you can do before you arrive, the better off you are. So anyway, we'll talk about market in just a little bit. I thought I would share just a few things today. I'm gonna kind of just blow right through because I don't want to make this super long. But I'll show some whips. Got a couple of finishes and that are FFO'd as well. I have a giveaway. I have a giveaway to give away. And then we'll pop into some of the market stuff and our shop minute. So again, thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for coming back. And I hope you enjoy this episode. I believe it's episode number 73. You can believe that. Okay, let's go. I'm going to start with my whips. I did get some work this for this period of time since I last visited with you. I got my assignment. I'm working with, there's a group of, I think, 5 or 6 of us who are working on Olga's Autumn Stocking. We're doing it slowly, but we're, keeping going. It's a lovely design by Paulette from Plum Street Samplers. And our assignment this time, we had smaller assignments over this last month or 2 because of the holidays and everybody was just so busy and that kind of thing. But our assignment was to do this upper portion above the house here, I believe, and then this portion. So we had 2 assignments, I think. Since I've shown you, I've kind of forgotten. But anyway, basically it was to get this top portion finished. So if you look again here, you can see making some major progress. Got to have those 2 big pumpkins at the bottom and then that third black and white ziggy zag one at the toe, which is going to be kind of fun to do. But this puppy should actually be done. Our goal is to actually be finished by late summer so that we can, have it FFO'd and ready to display in the fall. So there is Olga's Autumn Stocking. Okay, and next I'm stitching this one. Started January 1st. This is Plum Street Samplers Autumn Moon, which came out late fall of 2025. And a friend of mine and I started it on January 1st. And we've picked some days of the month to work on this. And this is where I am. So I'm stitching mine. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I got my little project card, because the linen just went right out of my head. And of course not. It's a 40 count linen, because if you've been following with me for a while, you know that my sweet spot is 40. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that my stocking, I'm actually stitching on 46 count Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim, and using all the called for. This is on a 40 count. I'm trying to see if I can get it to where you can kind of see. Oh, you know what? This is Furley by Needle and Flax. If I talked about it long enough, it would come into my head. But so there's my progress. I love the colors. The colors are just, that's autumnal. That's my jam. Okay. On the 25th of the month, for this year, I picked as my 25th of the month stitch from Shakespeare's Peddler, Season's Greetings. As soon as I saw this, I just absolutely loved it. I believe you can still only, it was released at Silver Needle in Tulsa, and I believe it's still exclusive to the Silver Needle. Season's Greetings. So you could call Lindy at the Silver Needle and order it if you want to stitch it. And I'm stitching mine on 40 count Vintage Pecan Butter by Lakeside. I dug into my stash and felt like this design was definitely Lakeside worthy. And this is my progress so far. So we just had the 25th right earlier this week, and you know, that's really not showing you there. Now, as I pull it back further, you can kind of see the color of the linen darken up a little bit, because it's a little more, you know, prim looking. As soon as I get up closer, it kind of blows out a little bit. But just to kind of show you. So this past 25th, this is what I stitched. There's a lot of stitches in that flower, but it's really cool. Now, I will say, the other reason it probably took me a little longer, I am using, I didn't bring my threads up. I am using colors as I go. And for this flower, these petals, I'm using a Color and Cotton thread. And I don't know 100% this is how you say it, but it's Mirilton, M-I-R-I-L-T-O-N. And it is a thread where each skein, or each thread in the skein, tends to be, because it's variegated, but it tends to be half like on the pinker side and half on the darker rose side. So this is the, you know, kind of the equivalent to fussy cutting and quilting, but I actually chopped each one of my strands in half and used the pinker stuff in the areas where I wanted it to be pinker, and I used the darker rose portion of the thread to do the darker colors as it was called for on the pattern. I know it's probably kind of seems a little bit of a pain, but I'm loving how it is coming out. So anyway, this is just going to be so beautiful when it's finished. I'm really pleased with how it is looking. Okay, so This is another one that I spent a little bit of time with. I attended summer school at the Attic and was one of the lucky participants who got to have this project given to us, America 250 by Plum Street. It's just a gorgeous project. I didn't take it out of the plastic, and I'm sorry that we're getting some glare there. I'm sure you've seen it. It's been all over Instagram for sure. I believe if you follow Jack's 444, which is Comfort Stitcher, Jackie, she actually only lives about half an hour from me. She's been stitching this one. She didn't attend the retreat, but she had a friend who loaned it to her. So I will show you. Here's my progress. I got Independence all finished, and boy, was I a happy camper when that was finished and complete. So I'm stitching mine on 40 count Boston by Seraphim Fabrics. And I think when I'm holding it right there, you can get a feel for that color. It's kind of a gray with a bluish tint to it. So I love it. Now Paulette always designs on 36 count. And so therefore, our fabric was that was included was a 36 count. I just don't care for 36 count. That's my own personal preference. And I just prefer the 40 or 46. And so I switched to 40. I've had this piece of Boston for a while and have considered it for like Land That I Love with, from Teresa Kogut and some others. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, guess what? I finally have my design that I want to put on this fabric. And it's just gorgeous. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Last of my ongoing whips that I'll show you that I've been working on. And this is one that I talked about in my last video that I definitely did not want to pay the $10 to the Guild, Sampler Guild of the Rockies. But I named it as my Unfinished Object Challenge, my UFO Challenge. And because I've been working on this forever and a day, way too long, so I picked something that I want to get finished. It's a big one, but I wanted to get it finished. It's the Contented Mind by the Sampler Company, Brenda Keys. The picture does not, excuse me, do any justice to the design at all, as I'll show you in just a second. Matter of fact, if you're looking, she takes a or an actual picture, and it's glued onto the front there. So, it's almost impossible to really get a good feel for it, even though it's a real picture. But it's a big design, so I'm sure it was probably a bit difficult to even get a good full picture. And here we go. She's a big girl. And I'm stitching her on a 40, I believe it's a 40. I don't think it's 40. It's either 40 or 46. And this was a linen from when I belonged in the one of the linen clubs that's no longer available, Victorian Motto. But this was called Parchment. And I think to me, it was the perfect linen for this. Since I showed this to you in February, or no, I'm sorry, January. It was January 18th, last time I created a video. I have stitched this, finished this up here. I had to extend like some green here, which I do still have to do a little bit of finish right there. I've added in some of that second line. So I kind of would do a little motif, which is a little fussy because it's just, multiple colors and small spaces. And so I would finish one of those and come down and do a strand of that double row that needs to be done. And I'll kind of move this up a little closer so you can kind of see. It's the color. Well, I think that's a good representation right there, the colors. It's really beautiful. Kind of put this in front of me so you can see it a little better. I do still have to do the little cartouche right there. And then above in this spot, there's a little floral line or a little floral decor, you know, kind of thing that matches, kind of similar to what these are, that goes right here. And then this is all words, so that should go very fast. This one is over here as well. It's an identical motif. And then there's another little line of floral across the top. So, I mean, I'm seeing the end of the tunnel. I had kind of hoped to have it done end of this month. That didn't happen, and I'll kind of tell you why. I'll show you here in just a minute. My two finishes that I interrupted the stitching on this one to do. But I love this. I'm going to read real quickly why I love this particular sampler. The words say, "To no peculiar lot of mind is happiness confined, but in a self-approving heart and firm contented mind." I love that, because if you think about what a contented mind means, if you're content, you lack for or want really nothing, right? Because you're content. You're content with what you have. You're content with maybe your place in life. You're just, the word and the meaning of content, you know, means what? Free of anxiety and things like that. So I just love that. And so that's what spoke to me. So I'm excited to see this getting closer to the end, and I won't have to pay my $10. That's a good thing. So let me show you what I actually showed you last time that I was close to a finish on, and I did get completely finished. That is Elizabeth Easton. And my Elizabeth Easton, I think I explained this in January. I actually changed. She has the same birth month and date as my grandmother. My grandmother, Marcine, is the grandma who gave me my love of handwork and needlework, and she did it all. She tatted, quilted, crocheted, knitted. I mean, she did not cross stitch, I will say. And when I had picked up cross stitch in my teenage years and brought it to her house and was showing her some of it, she was like, "Oh, I don't think I can do that." But at that point, she also had glaucoma, and I think for her, the smallness of it was really an issue. And we just didn't have all the magnifiers and things like that back in, you know, in the late 70s, early 80s, the way we do now. Or she probably would have done it as well. But so I put her name and everything in here. And then as I was framing, I wrote in the fabric with some fabric pen marker on the back side that this was actually Elizabeth Easton. So I'm very happy with it. I love it. I stretched it, pinned it, and framed it myself. So it's done. It's going on the wall. It's going to go on the wall right over here, actually. Just was waiting to show you before I put it up. So that got finished. Then I thought, you know, my grandson Zakayo's birthday is March 17th. He's a St. Patty's boy, and he will be 1. We have only seen him. We got to see him as a newborn for 4 days, and that is it. So I'm really, really missing out on a lot of things, but they hope to come here right as soon as the school is out for Alaska and Diana. And I think Britt and the 3 kids are going to come. They live in Italy, and so they live in just outside of Milan. And so they're going to come and stay with us for probably all of July. Then our whole family is going to the shore for vacation. Paolo, her husband, will fly over at that point, because in August, Italy, they kind of close down for the holiday. So he's going to fly over. My daughter Savannah, who just moved from Seattle to New York, is going to come down. We're going to be at the shore where my husband spent most of his summers. Every summer, his aunt had a house on LBI, Long Beach Island. And so we spent tons and tons of time when we lived in Pennsylvania, because it's only like an hour and a half, 2-hour drive down to the shore, down to LBI. And so we rented a big house there, and all of us are beating for a trip to the beach. Alaska's so excited. She said, we're going to the beach. We're going to the beach. So that's all she knows is we're going to the beach. So she loves the water. So I'm very excited about that. But I'm more thrilled that they're going to come and we're going to get a good month or so before to spend some time with them. But what else? The other thing I was working on, and this is folded in quarters. It's very large. Now I do still have some threads to work in, but I was making Zachy a blankie. So, and it's pretty good size because he's already turning 1. And anyway, so this was the other thing I was working on. This took, I think, about maybe 8 nights, something like that. 7, 8 nights to get crocheted. Like I said, it's actually pretty good size. It's, if I really open it up, I mean, you can really see it's pretty good size, and this is half. So anyway, so I made that blankie. I still have to get it washed and blocked, weave in the ends, which I'm going to do probably this afternoon. And so anyway, wanted to show you that. So that took up some time away from Contented Mind. And then I don't even remember who showed it on Instagram, but I should probably stay off of there. A friend of mine and I had started this in August, I believe, of this last year. And I have had it kitted forever and a day. It's a Liberty House from Brenda Gervais with Fine Needle and Thread. And we worked on it together a little bit when we were at summer school in Phoenix in August. And I saw somebody had just finished it. And so I messaged her and said, we need to finish this. She's like, okay. So we both pulled ours out. And she had a little more done than I did. But we both got finished. Now, I took some liberties with my Liberty House, and I did post that on Instagram. What I did was, I'm just not a huge fan, not that I don't like the alphabet, I'm just not a huge fan of stitching letters sometimes into certain things. So I used the same alphabet. She had the 2 stars in the center within your alphabet and stuff. I took and split the stars, put the word Liberty underneath Liberty House. And then, let's see, that's all the same. This is the tree. That is all the same. I just left off, the letters and things that were up here. So then I was wandering around one of the stores, and found a frame. And I thought, that probably would look perfect for my finish of this. So yesterday I actually cut some, there was glass in this, and I took the glass out. So I used the glass as a template on my foam core and cut it, and that gave me the exact template that I needed to stretch and put the design into the frame. Now, I would have really liked to have this frame in a red or a blue even. But they only had it in whitewash, and they had it in like a dark brown, which definitely wouldn't have worked. I may, because I've got some chalk paint, I may just pop this out and actually chalk paint the frame. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I just did this yesterday. But I love it. Love it. So anyway, so that was the other thing that I took my time away from to work on A Contented Mind. But I got it finished, and it's ready for Memorial Day. I usually bring out all my patriotic and Memorial Day, and it's ready to go. So I'm very happy about that, and it's a whip off the list, which is even more exciting. So let's see, where do I stand? So that was kind of FFOs. Let me just double check around me, because if you could see, it's like a whole huge menagerie of stitching. I think that is it. Oh, Liberty House. Stitched on, I got my little project card, stitched on vintage navy bean, 40 count. And I did change out the country redwood, which was the red called for the house, to a Victorian model red maple. And everything else, I believe, oh no, no, yep, that is correct. That is everything. I think I was considering potentially changing roasted marshmallow to grits, but I think I actually ended up using the roasted marshmallow. So sometimes roasted marshmallow by Dental Art can be a little yellowy, and the grits, you know, is a little more off-white. So I think I had made a note that I had to check my skein to see, but I ended up doing that. So anyway, so there we go. Liberty House is ready to roll. Okay, I'm gonna do the giveaway stuff real quick now. Then I'm gonna talk about market and what my shop's doing. You know, it's the Sunday before market and all through the shop, right? So it's been kind of crazy. So let me do last time's giveaway, which was for Snowflake Serenade by Country Cottage Needleworks. I had started this ages ago and never finished it. And going through all of my whips and things like that, you know what, I'm just never going to finish this. So I thought, well, somebody else might want to. So this was my progress. And I also had the Krynic to go with it. The rest is DMC, so that should be easy for anybody who's got it. But if you didn't have the Krynic, I wanted you to have the Krynic. So anyway, I did the little sort by comment, because the comment I asked was for Snowflake Serenade to be in your comment, and the random picker that popped up was J Forster 95. It's JFORSTER 95. And if you're watching, please message me. My email will be in the drop box below, and I need your address so that I can mail this to you. And I'll get that right out. Now, if I hear from you in the next day or so, I'll get it out before market. If I don't hear from you, probably by Tuesday, it'll have to be after market. But I have this set aside for J Forster 95. And thank you so much for everyone that commented. And I have another small giveaway for you. These, I'm not even remember. I don't even know. I have been trying to clean out some boxes of needlework. Some of this is stuff that I think I got when I bought out a couple of estates. I had been contacted via my shop by a couple of people who had citrus pass away. And I'm not sure, to be honest with you, if these came in some of that, or if maybe I picked them up at some point. But anyway, Jardin Privé does My Ladies Quaker and Gentleman Quaker. Now, I know My Ladies Quaker, we've sold a lot of these through the shop. But I thought, you know what, I'm probably never going to stitch them. And so I'm going to give these two away. So if you're interested, you can comment Quaker couple. How about we say Quaker couple? I'm going to write that down right now. Quaker couple. So if you can put that in your comment, and I'll do the same thing, random generator. Now, a couple of rules about a giveaway. Please don't use the word giveaway or freebie or anything like that in your comment. We want to make sure that these go to stitchers and not to people who just randomly look for that kind of stuff and then to get merchandise and resell it or whatever. And then you must be 18, because I do have to have your physical address. And other than that, I hope that you will love wanting to stitch on those. I probably should have showed them a little bit better. There's the Gentleman Quaker. And there's My Ladies Quaker. And, you know, they're very cool. I mean, you're literally only using a couple of threads. DMC. So both of them are 160 by 160. So, you know, kind of medium designs, but very cute. Very cute. Okay, so that takes care of that. All right, we're going to jump into our shop minute. I did want to show a design that came out that's actually came out just before market, but in the spirit of the 250th anniversary of our country, this one was released by Needlework Press, Centennial Eagle. This was originally a design that they found on perforated paper, and so they recharted it and stitched it on linen. Now, we created a kit for this in the shop. It calls for, Vicky's great about giving several thread legends. So she gave threads for DMC, Classic Colorworks overdyed cottons, and Classic Colorworks Belle Soie silks. We kitted it with the overdyed cottons. Doesn't mean you have to purchase the threads. The design, the antique was 8 by 8 by 8, 8.8 by 8. The stitch count's 130 by 124, so not huge. If you did this on, say, 36 count, it would be like 7.3 inches by 6.9. Not huge. And probably you could even find an in-stock frame at one of the framing shops, you know, frame stores. Because a lot of times you can get like a 10 by 10 or something like that that would work if you wanted to frame it. So you'll notice that linen is really dark. It was stitched on tobacco mohair by Wabi Sabi Linens through Kitten Stitcher. I'm not sure if Teresa is going to have that tobacco mohair, because with her Wabi Sabi, other than graham crackers, she doesn't generally keep all the colors in stock all the time, because that's the whole point of her Wabi Sabi. They do some colors that they think look cool, do lots of that, you know, dye bath, and put that linen out, and that's it. So I'm not sure, but anyway, so Vicky gave a couple other options: Mackinaw Fudge by Needle and Flax, or Cactus Wren by Fox and Rabbit. So I have had a ton of people message to say, what do you suggest? What do you think? Now, I did the kits with Cactus Wren as one of the options, and you believe that I forgot to bring the piece of Cactus Wren with me. And the other option I did was Broomgrass. This is a needle bling. And so that's kind of, if you look at this, not quite as deep dark, but the one thing that I found in talking to people is they were kind of like, oh, it's really dark. I don't know if I want to stitch on something that dark. So that's why Cactus Wren is more saturated than the needle bling Broomgrass. Then the Broomgrass has some modeling. I kind of like that look of that modeling, just because it's an old design, kind of gives a little more primitive feel. But I dug through, mind you, in my stash. So I'm just going to tell you what I have and some suggestions that you might like. Here's another one that actually is almost a spot-on match. This is Seraphim Fabrics, and you can order from her on her website, and this is Velvet Antler. I had stitched, I think it was a little robin design, 1776 on this. I did it as my vacation stitch last August, and I loved how the reds and the whites popped on it. So that is a possibility. Here's another Wabi Sabi, which is cocoa, hot cocoa, which could be good. This one is also a Wabi Sabi. This is Spiced Apple Donut, I think. Spiced Apple, her handwriting. I think it's donut. Spiced Apple Donut. And then also, if you were like me and have some lakeside stash, this is wood smoke. That could be really interesting too. So that could be really cool. So I just thought I would share, you know, some of those that I found, only because I had so many people be like, oh, you know, I don't know about that, you know, that fabric. And I think right now, I'm not sure how with the tariffs and the customs and things like that, XG Designs, her linens come from Hungary. So I'm not 100% sure how that's working right now. I don't carry hers in my shop. Another one that has taken Stitcher's World by storm. It's going to be a market release. That is A Worthy Patriot. And I will show it like right here. And I've had a lot of requests about fabric for A Worthy Patriot, and that's by Plum Street Samplers. It is beautiful, and I will tell you that once I saw it, Paulette told me she intended it to be kind of a companion to the America 250th, but she wanted it to release at market. The America 250 is only available through the attic for right now, and so she wanted this, I think, to be maybe a little more generally available to all the shops. So it is, the model for that one is on Coffee Stain, which is a Cedar River linen. And with that in mind, I'll just take the time right now to let you know that I am actually adding the Cedar River linens line to the shop. I've talked with Jody, actually before this even came out. I talked with Jody because I was considering it as one of the possibles for Centennial Eagle, and she agreed, and I'm going to add, I think we're going to start with maybe 5 colors right off the bat, hoping to have those by end of March, and that's pretty exciting. So this is what the model is stitched on, Coffee Stain by Cedar River. And I have about 35 yards of that coming. But I also looked and thought, you know, what else would be a good one? This is from Color and Cotton. A lot of you, I think, probably are in the Color and Cotton Fabric Club. This one is Beachcomber Medium, and a little different look, a little deeper in color, but the modeling, I think, is a little more subtle. So I don't know, they're really both beautiful. I think either one could be a good, strong possibility. And then I pulled, Dames of the Needle, Cow Fodder. This was another one that I thought, for those who might not want to stitch on quite such a dark linen, this could be a really good, strong possibility. Has that same, you know, kind of prim look to it. Antique-y. And then from number 12 Stitch Co., this was Bull Dust. And this is another one that I thought would be really good. Let me put that one up, say next to, look how similar that is, but not quite as dark. That's next to the Color and Cotton. And then next to the stain, Coffee Stain. So a little bit different tone, but again, all 4 kind of in that same family. So anyway, just wanted to give you some suggestions, things you might want to, you know, look for with A Worthy Patriot. That one has been, right off the bat, was probably our most pre-ordered chart until Stacey Nash dropped her animal crackers. And everybody loves that little Pip the Hedgehog. That one has been crazy. The next one is Abigail the Goat. That one has been super popular. And I think then it kind of goes downhill from there. But those 2 really seem to be speaking to everybody. So what I did this year is, this has been my 9th year, I believe, going to market. So my first 2 years, I took pre-orders for everything. And then both years I had issues where the designer either came with not enough product, or in the shipping process of shipping their things to Nashville, um, a box of their supplies got lost in the ether. And, so there were shops who had to go home with nothing. Anyway, I just was like, you know what, things happen. And I just did not want to take pre-orders any longer, paid pre-orders. I don't want to have your money and then, So each year I have taken shopping lists, and I have shopping lists for shoppers this year. And I just I shop once everything's in hand, then I'll send you an invoice and we'll box it and send it. Still doing that. I had a couple of designers actually ask if I would like to take pre-orders. And so I was like, okay. And some of these designs were so popular, I can understand that. And I thought, I'm gonna list some. So I did list, I want to say like maybe 45 different charts across maybe 10 or 12, I can't remember exactly, designers. Designers that I know that if there's, issues, I will get those charts ASAP right after market. They've, been in the industry a long, long time. I have good, really good relationships with them. So, anyway, I went ahead and did that. I'm kind of glad I did, because as soon as I listed a Worthy Patriot, that thing went bananas. So it was good to get those orders to the designer, making sure I had enough for all the pre-market interest, as well as what I want to have in the shop afterwards. I might have only ordered, I don't know, 25, 30, 40 charts, and that would have been gone in a heartbeat, and then I would have been stuck waiting for a couple of weeks for a refill. So I did go ahead and do that for some. I did not do it for all. I think that kind of is okay. Not everybody can immediately spend everything right at one time. So this kind of also spaces it out a little bit. It's, going to be available. That's the other thing I had, a lady was really kind of in a bit of a panic. She was going to miss out on market things. I'm like, no, there's going to be lots that's going to be available. So that's how I did mine this year. So it was a little bit of a kind of a compromise. And it's working out, I think, okay. Let's see what else. Oh, there's this year market. There are 19 designers, I believe, who are participating in a Sunday only release called Platitudes. Platitudes, actually. They designed a design that can fit, like, say, on the center of a vintage dinner plate. Something like that. They're not giving us, we're getting tiny little sneak peeks. You can't order them, and well, you can pre-order, but you have to pre-order sight unseen. And we're not going to get full reveals until we go into those designers' rooms on Sunday morning. So I'm very excited about that. It's kind of cool. So definitely be looking for that. A lot of the designers, such as Teresa Kogut, Plum Street, Paulette, Beth Seal, Summer House Stitchworks, I believe Beth Twist from Heartstring Samplery. I want to say Gloriana Silks is having something. There were like I said, 19 weeks, I think weeks. And Weeks has 5 new threads out, which are really pretty to see. And they've got a new linen called Butterscotch, I believe it is called. Is it called Butterscotch? You can't pre-order linens from any dyer. So we just have to, get into the room as quick as you can. I think it's called Butterscotch. Anyway, you'll see it soon. So anyway, Platitudes, that's going to be fun. There are several. Let's see. I believe Kathy from Hands On Design is doing a Friday night reveal on a design that none of us have been able to see. So you just get to go in the room and see that. That's kind of fun. There's a couple of designers doing that same kind of thing. Teresa Kogut, I believe, has a design that will be a full reveal at market. So it's kind of, I guess, hearkening back to the days, excuse me, of, pre-Instagram, pre-orders, where you just went to market and you saw everything fresh and new, and you purchased as as you thought you loved, what you loved, that kind of thing. So it's kind of fun, but it's kind of nice too, because it, it adds some excitement back to the whole process, and hopefully my customers will love that. I love it, so we'll see how that goes. So just be prepared for that. Again, this year, I will try my absolute best to get pictures of the models as I'm in the rooms and post those for you on my Instagram. I will do that under my Hollis Hands Create Instagram, not under my McMama Stitches Instagram. And I think the last thing is we've been running an alphabet sale. We started back in January with every week a 20% off chart sale for designers that the name of the designer fits into the sequence of the alphabet. So we started with, I think, A and B. Then the next week we did everybody who started with a C, because there's a lot there. Then we did D, E, F for 1 week. Then this past week that just ended, it runs from Sunday to Saturday, was G and H. I am going to repeat G and H the week after market, I believe. And what I may do is add in I, because I think that really only gives you like ink circles or something like that. So, and repeat that one. We had an awful lot, and when I was going through, I accidentally omitted hello from Liz Matthews, and I felt bad about that. So we're going to add that week again, and then we'll continue on after that, week to week. Probably, JK, and then, L and M. I know when we get to S, we might have to do that 2 weeks in a row, because there's a lot of designers that begin with S. So, and you get like Stacey Nash and Scarlett House. So, be watching the shop, watch your calendar, and if there's a favorite designer that you kind of always wanted that chart, but maybe you're hoping to see it on sale, we're doing those for 20% off. So be watching for that. What I'm going to do now as I'm wrapping up is I'm just going to show a kind of a slideshow here at the end of what we have seen so far that we really love from market, and just, give you, if you haven't already seen on Instagram, you'll kind of see them maybe here all in one place. And wish us luck. It's about an 8-hour drive. It's not, not horrible, but not short. It's worse coming home. I think last year my son Adam drove, I think, the whole time, and I believe I slept. I was absolutely exhausted, but I spend more floor time out than he does. And this year, I'm actually speaking on the retailers meeting panel along with Becky Nolan from Lucy Beam and her daughter Megan Shepard from Lap and Loops, and I believe the owner of Hobby House, Kathy. I think the 4 of us are the panel for the retailers meeting, so I've got to, do some work there. And anyway, it should be fun. And thank you so much if you've hung in with me this long. I hope you enjoy, it's not everything coming out market, but just some, just some kind of the, designs that we really love, and we hope that you'll love as well. And I hope I haven't missed anything. If you've got any questions, feel free to message in the comments and email. I won't guarantee that this week but I will try my best to get back to everybody. And thank you for watching. And remember, create every day, and take care, and happy March. Bye-bye. Bye.